This is Val, guys. Welcome to 2017. In this video, I want to do a quick review of Dimension Theory's iRadiance Pro Series HDRIs Photo Studio, which is a 16K HDR map package. It includes 4 maps in 3 various resolutions. So you got studio backdrop with direct lighting, then you got backdrop soft. It's a little bit. It's the same scene, but it's a little bit different, setups. And there is a special environment, 2 environments there. Excuse me. This is five different sets, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sets in 3 resolutions. So basically, the 3 are at the same position here, right in front. If I zoom out the camera, it's right in front of a giant whiteboard, so to speak, right? And there's the studio setting, and you can pretty much place your characters anywhere. And I love these bulbs here hanging. It's a pretty cool backdrop. And so you got this one here. Let me just double click. Yeah, that's the one. So this secondary one, it's pretty much, let me just let it load here. I'm gonna pause what is updating. It kind of takes a while for these to load. There we go. So it's the same setting, as you can see, it's the same position, but the lighting's a little bit different. These bulbs here are not illuminated. There's a little bit of different lighting here, and there's no spots. So it's just a soft lighting from above, right? Then we have, when I turn on this one, this is the 3rd one, right? And mark now, I'm loading the 16K versions of them. I'm going to be talking about that in just a second. Let me just update this. Yeah, there it is. So you can see now, this is the slightly different light setup. The soft lighting here is not as strong, and there is a little bit different setup. There's a lot of spotlights hitting now from various directions, so you got multiple shadows and all that. So first of all, because this is an indoor setting, in a previous video I was talking about HDR maps pretty much outdoor. I think outdoor is where these maps shine, and indoor I find them rather difficult to use. Either there is too little space to play with, or the lighting doesn't quite match. So let me just show you here a little bit what I mean with that. Let me load the first one. Let me just go back here and load the first one. I'm gonna just load the 8K version of it. Alright, so overall I find this a really nice package as far as lighting goes. It has pretty nice light options. As you can see, they look pretty decent, right? And this is straight render. There's no additional light whatsoever in the scene. I have a distant light, but it's turned off. I'm gonna show you why in just a second. So basically, I find it easy to just get decent looking lighting. However, like I said, I find it kind of hard to make the light match the environment. So just as an example, let me move our model. And by the way, when you move the model, you wanna turn on wireframe, or at least hidden wireframe, because now you can move and just right click up here to rotate the camera. You can move the model, and it goes rather quick, right? Because when you are previewing here in NVIDIA Iray, and obviously this model has a lot of clothing and hair, so there's a lot of polygons in there, so it takes a while to update. You can wait here a long, sometimes 20-30 seconds for it to update. And I'm on a really fast machine, so as you can see, I'm running here a GeForce GTX 1080, and I have 12 cores at 3.4 gigahertz, so I have a really fast machine. But as you can see, it takes a while for this to update. Now, here's what I mean that it's a little bit hard to match. You know, the shadows, because there is a lot of shadowing here, long shadows, right? They kind of easily go into the walls, and it's like, you know, a little bit awkward, right? So you're kind of limited where you want to be, where you can be, to avoid these shadows, or you have to, you know, simply not, you know, catch them with a camera, or be in a place maybe here where you can truly, you know, benefit from the shadows. But if you're close to the wall, you will run into issues with some of these light presets and settings. But as you can see, right now I'm seeing that she is more illuminated in the backdrop, and I have Iray settings on every single surface. So it's a little bit weird that she catches so much light but the environment doesn't. It doesn't really feel exactly like she's really standing in there. I know there is fall off and stuff like that, but I've been in a real environment. I've been photographing myself in a studio environment for over a decade and a half, so I know how it looks, and this doesn't quite look like it should. So that's a small drawback, but I like how the lighting falls on the characters. So let me move now our lady. See, now if I move in this preview, it takes forever. Now you have to update and wait for 20 to 30 seconds again. So that's because I have a model with a lot of clothing and hair that takes a little bit of, you know, overhead. Let me pause the video. I'm waiting here. Alright, good. So but you can see, you can play, you can use the environment, both the white you know, backdrop, and you can use the rest of it, right? So what is this 4K and 16K thing? Well, if you load this in 4K resolution, you will notice that it looks rather great, but if you zoom in a little bit, you lose, you know, the sharpness, and it kind of looks like you're missing out a little bit on the, you know, resolution side of things, right? Looks a little bit fuzzy, and I don't think that's an issue, because when you zoom in, you usually have a little bit of DOF going on, so it's not such a big deal. But compared to 16K, if I now switch to 16K, I see you know, I see a difference. It's gonna be more sharp, and I'm gonna see more pixels and details. But 16K from 4K, that's quite a difference in resolution. That's like, oh my god, that's a lot more data. As you can see, it's a sharper image, right? Alright, so I think the lighting might need a little bit of adjustments. It's not quite exactly catching precisely, you know, how the background really captures. And there is some cameras you can load here, for instance, backdrop cameras, and we can then go in here and, you know, bring them in here, and we can reset the position of our model. Hopefully she's gonna end up in front of the camera now. Let me just make sure she does. And this particular model with the hair and clothing, for some reason, takes forever on my PC to just, you know, follow along here. There she is. So here she is. Alright, so I'm gonna just move her back to the bed, because I want that camera to catch her at the background. So here it is. So now we can do like the video preview and get, you know, the correct camera as it's intended to be here. So I'm gonna pause again. This is gonna take a while. Alright, here we are. And again, the model receives a lot more lighting than the background, which is a little bit awkward, right? Like I said, it's a great package, but I just feel it's a little bit too much lighting on the character. And again, I know there was a fall-off effect, but I don't buy it. It's not, a fall-off effect isn't that much, especially when, there are spotlights here. So, let me go to a different, environment. Let me change that to photo studio. Let me choose. Let's take this one here. Let's use the 4K versions because they are, or 8K, sorry, because they are gonna be a little bit less. No, there's gonna be less power required. This setting here is, as you can see, the camera is positioned a little bit further away. So here we got this nice room, which is kind of limited again because it's kind of like 2.5 meters. Then it's just a studio set. And again, if you take a look at the model here, she doesn't really seem to belong there. She receives so much lighting in her face, and if you look here, where's the light coming from, right? I mean, she cannot possibly get so much light from just this one here, right? So there's a little bit of mismatch where you can do and be and play with. And even if you place her right here in the middle of this room, it's a nice setting. Let me just update. I'm gonna pause while this is updating. Alright, so again, I mean, it's a nice setting, but once again, I don't feel she belongs in the image. I mean, I don't feel the lighting is matching. The shadows are not matching, and if you have to be die-hard about where to place her, then you're losing the entire fun of this package, right? So I just don't get the it's a pity because it's a nice package, but I don't feel it just connects as much as it should. And just to show you what I mean here, just because before leaving this set, you got 4 lights you can add. These are mesh lights you can add that will behave like the lights in here, which further can enhance how you light and so forth, which kind of defies, in my opinion, the HDRI map solution. For me, HDRI is loaded and forget it. I don't want to add any additional lights to it. So it's kind of limited because it's hard to know how to position your model. I mean, if you start playing with the camera, you lose immediately the touch. So it's very kind of confusing in this confined space. Obviously there are cameras you can play with, right? Now, just to prove the point that other packages from Dimension Theory, if you go to the real world HDR, which I did a review on in the previous video, and for instance, let's do the Mountain B setting, right? This one, it just feels like she's there, right? So let me just I need to reset her position. We got off the wrong foot. And let me just do wireframe and look it out lady. Alright, so where is she? Now the PC is working again. So for some reason this particular model is really pain to work with. It's a lot of waiting. So there she is. Alright, and now we can just switch to NVIDIA Preview. I just feel these outdoor packages which I was showing in the earlier in the previous review, I think those are more easier to use, more versatile, and they also, it just feels like she belongs in the image. Like I said, it's a nice light setup in some of them in the indoor setting, in the indoor studio, photo studio setting, but the lighting doesn't really match. So in here, just forgive my super slow. It just feels like, you know, it just belongs there. She belongs there. The lighting is right, the shadows are right. It's a lot, you know, more precise in that way. So let me just move around her and go to the other side. So you can see this just, you know, just a quick comparison. We feel immediately she belongs there. The lighting matches perfectly no matter where I place her. So that's what I mean. I love the studio, you know, package. It has a lot of cool backdrops. I love this 16K that has great resolution, but I just don't feel that they connect really with the background. The lighting is good looking. It has some cool options with the hanging bulbs like I showed you, but I don't feel they connect really with the background. All right, and if you still obviously want to get this package, just click on the link below. And that's it for this video, guys. I want to keep these videos as short as possible so we get maximum you know, maximum value and information in the shortest possible time. So that's it for now, and I'll see you next time.